Good morning, good afternoon. We're right there in the in-between. This is the organizational meeting for the Veterans and Military Affairs Committee. I'm gonna ask our Vice Chairman if he has a few motions that he'd like to entertain and take them up in block.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to be recognized for three motions, and I move that we take them up in block. The first of which is that our new colleague, Senator Robertson, be elected as the Secretary of the committee. I'd also like to move that we adopt that the number 4 constitutional quorum, since we have a 7-member committee, and to adopt the rules of the Senate for the conduct of the business of the committee, with the exception that you can enter a motion and reconsider on the same day the motion is entered.
Okay, so you've heard the motions in blocks. Anybody have a problem with taking that up in block? If not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that carries. Before we exit, I just would like to ask Mr. Jack Winstead, if you will, tell us a little bit about what your organization does and how it helps our veterans.
Okay, thank you. Friends of Mississippi Veterans was organized about 15 years ago. And at that time, the State Veterans Affairs Board, which is the key state agency here, were informed that there was money available to construct some veteran cemeteries in Mississippi, but they could not use the money to purchase land. So at that time, I lived over in Newton County, and they approached us about helping them locate some land, and we were fortunate enough to get the land at around Mississippi State University, part of the Ag Experiment Station over there. And we came to the legislature with their Friends of Mississippi, with the Veterans Affairs Board, and got 75 acres transferred over for that cemetery. Later added some more. It's actually 86 acres. Then a few years later, there was determined there was a need for North Mississippi, and we worked with the legislators and the supervisors up in Montgomery County and getting land set aside for the cemetery there. So those two cemeteries are operational now, and we felt real good about what we had accomplished, but they called us back in then and wanted us to go beyond the committee to form a nonprofit organization kind of as a support wing for Board of Veterans Affairs. And so we started this, and there was things that you wanted at the cemeteries, like the towers and the signage, that you couldn't use state and federal money for. And we raised approximately $500,000 that was donated to the Veterans Affairs Board. It was used in those two cemeteries for the signages and the towers and this type of thing. And then we took on the project of the wreaths across America, which we had those veterans being buried there. It was a bigger job than just volunteers. So our number one project was to provide Christmas wreaths in December each year as part of the Wreaths Across America program. This past year, we purchased over 1,600 wreaths that we gave, and they were placed on the graves there at those. And but from there, it led one thing to the other. And your Veterans Affairs Board and directors, we had a great working relationship with us, and they asked us to look about some other ways that we could help them to do things that they couldn't use state funds for. And one of the bigger projects, well, we had small projects where that on Veterans Week, we would go into the nursing home and present gifts to the residents and this type of thing. But then they approached us at about the time the COVID pandemic hit. Those nursing homes were constructed to visit indoors, and there was not space there, So we had residents there that actually probably didn't have a visitor for a year or more. And they had an outdoor pavilion at Collins, Mississippi, that a private group had constructed, and they came up with the idea we need that at each location. And again, I'm a federal retiree, but I know how state and federal government, the money will eventually come, but you can wait a long time to get it. And so we started a fundraiser to raise money to build pavilions, and today there are nice outdoor pavilions at each of the 4 nursing homes in Mississippi. And we donated a little over $200,000 to pay for those 4. So worked it out through the state, where we paid directly to the contractor and this type of thing. And then we looked at, let me add quickly that I told our board, when we have a 10-member board throughout the state, and I told them, before we take this on, we're about worn out going out begging for money. We got to come up with a source. And 6 years ago, we came up with the idea of a skeet shoot and a golf classic. So in October of each year, and I want y'all to remember this, and I'll make sure y'all get information because you can help us there by getting teams. People want to play golf, they want to shoot skeet, and the money is all going for veterans. So with that operation, we were able to raise enough money through there to build those 3 pavilions. Well, then the Director of Veterans Affairs, we talked, and what's your next big project? And they mentioned that the transportation equipment they had at these nursing homes was very inadequate, older, didn't have the safety lifts and all this on it, and approached us about this. And that's when we started the fundraisers, and we raised basically those 2 functions in October, provides us with enough money to pay for the pavilions. And we have purchased two new vans, one's at Collins, and the other one's in town now being lettered and all. It'll go to the Kosciuszko unit right away. And we've had enough money from last year. We have ordered the 3rd one. We were hoping to do 1 a year, but in 2 years, we've got the 3rd one ordered. And so I think within the next year or so, we will have 1 at each of the 5 nursing homes. And this is all just because of people that want to support us. And like I said, we're nonprofit, tax-free. We don't take any money and use it for anything else. Our board determines how it's administered, but it is based on what the needs, these folks over here with Mississippi Board of Veterans Affairs, they tell us what their needs are. And then we take it to our committee. And if it's multiple needs, we'll help them set priorities of which one we can do. So that's where we're at now. I would say at this point, we have probably provided well over $1 million of money we have raised. It's gone directly to the operations of Mississippi Veterans Affairs Board. So that's basically it. Chairman Tate invited me to come in and just let y'all share with you. And as we get closer to the skeet shoot, which will be at Jackson Country Club in October, at the golf course, it'll be at the golf classic, will be at the country club. The skeet shoot will be out at Providence Hills. And what you can do is help get business to sponsor a team. We have 4-member teams, and the more we do, we can increase our number. And so it's the proper time. We'll provide y'all with literature and information. And if you can help us recruit team, the business in Mississippi are very good. I found out there's one thing you can count on. People want to support veterans, and most people want to either shoot skeet or play golf one. You put it together, it's a winning combination. So that's basically it. My card there has my cell phone number on our website. That's the number there. Unfortunately, we don't have paid employees. So I've been chairman of this group since day 1. I try to get it rotated, but that's not easy to do. But if someone has a question, they can call that number or either talk to Veterans Affairs Board and we'll work together. We'll be looking at some new projects in the next few years. Once we purchase the other 2 vans, we'll say, okay, what does the Veterans Affairs Board, what do y'all need? And as one of my board members said, we can raise money, but we're not going to raise money just for that reason. We want, if it's a good cause, and there's many good causes out there for the veterans in Mississippi. So we're available to support and back up any way we can.
Thank you, Mr. Jack. That really is fantastic work that you and Miss Ann Alexander and your team are doing. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. With that being said, I'm going to look to my vice chairman for a strong motion.
I move Roger report.
Motion's rise and report. We're adjourned.